Add Pierre Strong. What's up, everyone? It's Eric, aka Doc, coming at you from the Triple Play YouTube channel. Look, right here, we got a lot of weeks. Got calendar weeks, we got Ricky and Jamal weeks, we got weak humans, but today we're looking to add the opposite, and that's Pierre Strong. But before I go into this video, if you like the content here, make sure you go to the Fantasy Points website. They have a lot of great tools there, projections and rankings, research and news, a lot of great minds, especially as you're getting into the fantasy playoffs. Spend a little money to make a little money. Use code TriplePlay22 and use 10% off. But I'm going to tell you why that I think Pierre Strong is a great ad. So first, let's just look at the injuries. Damian Harris, a thigh injury. That did happen the game against Minnesota. He was spotted on crutches leaving, and he's missed the last 2 games. And then Ramondre Stevenson, injured on Monday Night Football with an ankle, looked serious. Then he came back in the game, caught 3 passes, and left, and then was ruled out. So next man up, right? Now, going into a little bit of the beat reporter insight of Pierre Strong. And when we look, we can see on the right from different people that write for Patriots.com their thoughts. Paul Perillo, that he's a gifted receiver, perhaps the heir to James White. They took him in the 4th round. Mike Dussault, with somewhat of the uncertainty at the long term, that he's a good replacement. Damian Harris is a free agent after this year. He was a 4-year All-American, at South Dakota State, but they need speed. So when we look at a Belichick offense, he loves a captain and leader. Those are some of the intangibles there. And speed was kind of the theme of the 2022 draft. They did take Tyquan Thornton in the 2nd round. And Pierre Strong, who ran a 4.37 or 4.3740, fits into that mold also. Now, we saw Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris get some work. Kevin Harris actually got the first touchdown. So why are we taking Pierre Strong over Kevin Harris? Well, the first is when we look at draft capital, and I know that's not an end-all, be-all, but Pierre Strong was taken in the 4th round of this past draft, and Kevin Harris in the 6th. So hypothetically, maybe they viewed Strong as a potential replacement or someone that was to get more work initially. When we look at the game script, so in the second half, kind of once the adjustments are made, Pierre Strong had 7 touches. This is both rushing and receiving to Harris's 3. Strong also got the final carry and the final touchdown of the game. So just kind of recency bias. And then Strong has that receiving upside. And that's what Ramondre Stevenson really gave that Damian Harris didn't have as much of, which I think is a little bit more versatile in a Bill Belichick offense, especially when Mac Jones is your quarterback. Also, the familiarity. And I want to give a shout out to Kevin Coleman. You can find him on Twitter at DuBois_22, one of the really bright minds in the football space. But he points out that Pierre Strong had a similar system in college. So when we look at the quote on the right, he talks about how Strong played in a heavy zone scheme rushing attack, and that's similar to what the Patriots used, maybe which is why they were more bullish and took him on in the 4th round. We see once again a 4.3740. He wrote this last week actually before the injury, so maybe he knew something that we didn't. But look, it's fantasy playoff time. You need a win, right? And you want to look at the upcoming schedules. And I think it actually bodes pretty favorable. So they play at the Raiders. Excuse my laugh. I'm still laughing about how they blew the game to the Rams. But they're allowing 24.1 points per game on the season, 111 rush yards per game. Then they play the Bengals week 16, who are allowing 111 rush yards per game on the ground also. And then they play the Dolphins, who have been reeling recently, especially on that defense, who have been allowing 24 points per game and slightly over 108 rush yards. So pretty favorable fantasy playoff schedule. We all thought Ramondre Stevenson was going to be the beneficiary of this, but in fantasy football, things can come up, and it looks like it's Pierre Strong time. Now, from a fab perspective, you use it all, right? You have to win to advance unless you play in a 2-week playoff. And even if you don't necessarily need Pierre Strong this week, injuries do happen all the time, but you could also block someone who might be able to use him. And just a reminder, last year, the RB1 for fantasy playoffs was Rashad Penny, and the RB2 was Devin Singletary. 2 guys that weren't drafted highly or at all and were free agent pickups before the fantasy playoffs. So keep that in mind. But for all those reasons, I would say add Pierre Strong. He should be at the top waiver wire of this week. You should be getting all of your fab dollars if you have some left. For everybody that watches Triple Play, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Good luck this week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.